Hi, today we're going to talk about adjectives and adverbs. Let's look at the difference first of all. Adjectives describe a person, place, thing, or sometimes a feeling. So person, place, something, that's a noun. Okay, they describe a noun. An adjective usually comes before the noun or after the verb to describe the noun. For example, the red car. The car is red. Red is the adjective, and it either comes before the noun, car, or it comes after the verb, is, to describe the car. An adverb describes a verb, adjective, or another adverb. Where it goes in the sentence really depends on the type of adverb, and we'll look at that later in this video. Examples of adverbs are he drives slowly. The house is really big. She paints very beautifully. So slowly here describes a verb, drives. Really describes an adjective, big. And very describes another adverb, beautifully. Now, let's look at forming an adverb from an adjective. First and usual rule is we just add ly to the adjective. For example, quick becomes quickly, slow, slowly, loud, loudly, and so on. But adjectives that end in l, very often people think we just add a y. No, we still add an ly. For example, usual, usually. So we have a double L there. Beautiful, beautifully. Again, the double L. If an adjective ends in le, this is where we change the e to an r, to a y. And so the adverb still ends in ly. For example, stable, stably. Gentle, gently. We take off the e and add y. If an adjective ends in y, we take it off. We take off the y and add ily instead. For example, happy becomes happily, angry, angrily. So we're taking off that y and adding ily. If you prefer, you can think of it as adding il before the y. Either way. And lastly, we've got the exceptions. So the adjective good, the adverb is not goodly, it's well. So we say she dances well. We don't say she dances good, unless you're in America. In Britain, we use the adverb, as you would to describe a verb. Other exceptions are fast, hard, and near. It's a fast car. That's an adjective because it's describing car. But he drives fast. Fast is describing the verb drives, so it's an adverb, but it stays the same form. She's a hard worker. Hard describes worker. But she works hard. Hard is describing the verb works. Again, we keep it in the same form. If we use hardly, that is a different meaning altogether. And really it means the opposite, because hardly means very little, whereas here she works hard, it means she works a lot. And the same with nearly and near. Near is the adverb or the adjective. Nearly changes the meaning completely. It means almost rather than not far from. Okay. So now let's talk about the position of adverbs in a sentence. As I said earlier, it all depends on the type of adverb. Adverbs of manner tell us how someone does something, and they usually go after the verb or the verb phrase. For example, she speaks Russian fluently. Fluently goes after the verb phrase, speaks Russian. Okay, it doesn't go straight after the verb because the verb has a direct object, Russian. It goes after the verb phrase. Adverbs of frequency tell us how often something happens. They usually go before the main verb or after the verb to be. For example, he is always late. Is a form of the verb to be, so always goes after it. Whereas he always comes late, always goes before the main verb comes. There are more rules about the adverbs of frequency, and there's a whole other video on that if you're interested. Moving on to adverbs of time and place, these usually go at the end of a sentence. And if you've got both an adverb of place and time in a sentence, place always goes before time. For example, they will be here in half an hour. Here is the adverb of place. In an hour is the adverb of time. You can't say they will be in an hour here. It doesn't make sense. Place always goes before time. Adverbs of degree tell us how much something is done. Now, there are different adverbs of degree and they go in different places. So, extremely, incredibly, very, quite, these kinds of adverbs are used with adjectives and adverbs, and they always go before them. For example, he is very happy. A lot and much are often used with verbs, and they go after the verb or the verb phrase. For example, she works a lot. A little and a bit can be used with either adjectives or verbs. They go before the adjective or after the verb or verb phrase. For example, I'm a little tired. Tired is an adjective, so the adverb goes before it. We rested a bit after the long journey. Rested is a verb, so the adverb goes after it. We also have comment adverbs, which give the speaker's opinion. Usually they go at the beginning of a sentence or clause, part of a sentence. For example, it's raining today. Luckily, I have an umbrella. The luckily is the comment, and it goes at the beginning of that sentence. And other adverbs. Most of them usually go in the middle. For example, I just want to go to the shop. She didn't even say hello. We'll probably stay at home this weekend. And by in the middle, I mean before the main verb, after any auxiliary verbs. I hope that's helped you. Thank you for watching.